everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anushka and in this video I'll be sharing with you, sharing and not recommending few books that disturbed my mind, like damaged it. There are few books which make you sad, but then there are different types of books which just disturb your brain, and these are the books whose hangover lasts for ages and characters remain with you forever somehow. I don't know why, maybe because these deal with some serious issues and you can't forget these issues. If you feel like reading these books, only read these books when you can handle that pain, because these are difficult to go through. So the first book on this list is the one that has this beautiful cover, Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. Don't judge a book by its cover. This one might seem like a children's joyous, fun to read book, but it isn't. Even though it starts off, we have our protagonist who's an 11-year-old girl named Natsuki. She is best friends with one of her cousins named Yu, and they play along really well. But one day, one incident happens and their family separates them and things just change thereafter. It depicts society as a factory, because that's what Natsuki says. You'll understand what I'm saying when you read the book. It is gruesome. The book has graphic details. One of the few scenes hits you when Natsuki is just a child. No spoilers here, but then this book also talks about survivorship. That's the main theme of it. It ends also very differently, so you'll have to go through your imagination and come up with the conclusion. It is not conclusive. Next on the list is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Yes, the same author who wrote Gone Girl, and even though Gone Girl is her more popular work, I would still choose Sharp Objects over Gone Girl, because this one is much more chilling. If you think Gone Girl was gruesome and disturbing, you haven't read Sharp Objects. Now, this is a story of a reporter named Camille Preaker, who's in her 30s, and she is given a task to visit her hometown, which she hasn't visited for years, to report the killing of a few preteen girls that's been happening in her hometown. And she doesn't want to visit her hometown because she's not on a good terms with her mother. It's like it brought goosebumps to me, because there is this one particular scene about a farm, no spoilers, but I was like, what am I actually reading? And even though this is shorter than Gone Girl, this left much stronger impact on me, and I was like, man, how do writers think of these things? Where do these brains come from? I don't want someone who thinks like this anywhere close to me. I mean, yeah, that's what I thought when I read Sharp Objects. Yeah. This next one is a controversial one, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Russell. It talks about trauma, about victimhood, and about a pedophile. It definitely is dark, as the name suggests, so a lot of trigger warnings there, but I would still suggest women to read it. So it talks about this teenage girl named Vanessa, who's 15-year-old, and she gets into this college where she falls in love with her English teacher, who's 40-year-old. And this story is set in two different timelines, past and present. So 15-year-old is past, and then we go to present, where this same man, this same teacher, is accused of sexual abuse by some other student, and it's all over media. So he gets back to Vanessa asking for help. Now, this might seem very obvious that Vanessa is wrong here, she needs to be schooled, and whatever her decisions are wrong, but still somewhere you have sympathy for this girl, and her thoughts are written in a way that you're like, my God, I mean, I feel sorry for her. And till the very end, you don't know what decisions she would take. Okay, the next one is a certified sad, disturbing, dark book, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I've done a dedicated reading vlog on this. You can check out my detailed thoughts there. But in short, firstly, I would never recommend this book to any person, because what I went through while reading, and by the end of it, I was hopeless. So this is a story of 4 friends, JB, Malcolm, Willem, and Jude. And Jude is our main character. He goes through a lot of trauma. He has childhood trauma, then he grows up, becomes a litigator, great in business, great mind, but he has some mental trauma to face too. This is a thick book, around 800 pages, so the build-up is so strong that you can't help but get attached to these characters. A lot of gruesome, dark, disturbing things happen to these people, and you cannot help but cry, and you cannot help but pray, literally pray for these people. You know you're reading a book, but you still can't help but get unsettled when anything happens to these people. I got swayed away, but my god, did this book disturb me. And it now, this next one is a book that I've recommended n number of times, and it is one of my favorites, but that doesn't mean that it isn't sad or disturbing or hard to go through. The book I'm talking about is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. The reason that I recommend this book is, at the end, it does give hope. So, which is one of the reasons why I recommend it. But still, to go through that book, it is just a rough experience, because we have these two women, Leila and Mariam, who, because of some situations, are forced to marry this man named Rashid against their will. And this man, the way he treats them, he doesn't treat them as humans. And to read those gruesome details, graphic details, and knowing that this was the sad reality of women in Afghanistan back then, a certain page about the rules that women had to follow under Taliban rule, and that is quite real. And when you go through that page and some terrible incidents about abuse, the women being abused, you're like in utter shock, and you feel thankful for the life you have. Yeah, this book, legit, I've read it 2 times, but it does disturb me, and it gets into my nerves. Last but not the least is a thriller, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. Yup, it did disturb me. I'll tell you why, but you can check out my detailed thoughts here. Without a doubt, it's a wonderful thriller, masterfully written, though I feel like the last few hundred pages are a bit dragged, but still, it's a very suspenseful novel, full of mystery, well written. But the reason why I found it disturbing is the violence part, the gory violence details, which are graphic. There are explicit sexual scenes, which were too much for me to take in. There is this one rape scene, which has been written just so explicitly and graphically that I actually literally skipped that page. I couldn't go through it. So yeah, there are trigger warnings in this book. It is not for the kind-hearted. The whole story as well, it's not for the kind-hearted. It's for people who are above 18, or who can handle this sort of thing. If you don't know the story, it's about this disappearance which happened 40 years back, and a wealthy industrialist hires 2 people, Mikhail Blomkvist and there's Lisbeth Salander, to investigate this case. It is a very hard-hitting thriller. I haven't read it. And yeah, that's it. Those were all the books that disturbed me. Mind you, there are a lot of other books which have made me sad. I might share the list sometime later, but these books did not make me sad. Sad is a lighter term, and you can feel sad after reading one of your favorite and happy to go books because you are attached with the characters. But once a book disturbs you, it's a different game altogether. So these were the books that disturbed me really, and I would like to know if you have read these books. What are your thoughts on it, or what are the books that disturbed your mind, that actually effed your mind? Let me know in the comment box below. And yeah, that's it with this video. A book recommendation. Sorry, nope, not a book recommendation, but a book related video after a really long time. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you later with another video. Until then, bye bye.